Aquarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late August 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Aquarius collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these lovely Aquarians out there in late August as we move from Leo season into Virgo? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. Let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Aquarius in late August. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick, my good friends. Let's see. We're going to have some fun today. It's always a pleasure to read for Aquarius. All right, cool. So this energy, speaking of fun, it can be fun, but there's also a layer to it that I always have to be very cautious about. Whenever we see someone putting on a puppet show or pulling strings, that symbolism should make us raise an eyebrow, right? But it's not all rough, right? Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the August subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this individual dressed up as a jester with a mask, playing with the puppets, putting on a little puppet show. So in its most positive sense, this is entertainment to me, where it's like, all right, I'm going to go see a movie. Or I'm going to go watch a pro sports game or whatever it is. It's just doing something to entertain oneself, right? So there's something that I find very fun about that. So for some Aquariuses, this could be an advice from Spirit where it's like, hey, you need to do something fun, do something that you enjoy, whatever it is. Even if your idea of fun is like staying in and eating some really good food, totally cool. If you're enjoying yourself, nice. It shouldn't be all work, no play. That's a good thing that comes with this card. However, this can also represent someone pulling the strings from behind the scenes, or that there might be more to something than what it seems. So I think as we move through the main part of the reading this week, I'm going to want to keep a very close eye on hidden energies or things that might be obscured or things that look one way but are actually another, because this energy could absolutely obscure things. So we're going to let him chill right there, keep putting on the puppet show. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Aquarius. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled An Unexpected Win. And I must say, for the past several weeks, there's been a beautiful wave of energetic goodness coming towards the Aquarius. So I hope you've gotten some good things coming in. Now, I always say wins and victories, they come in all different shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's personal relationships. Sometimes you just have some really great days. And that's like this energy felt so great for the past couple of weeks. So we're going to hope to keep it going. We're going to see what shows up this week, though. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Aquarius. What do we have here? Okay, 2 wands. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's an energy that's looking forward. Is it planning something, though? Is it strategizing? That's something we might want to take a look at. Let's get a couple more. Okay, Ace of Swords, Sword of Truth. Yeah, this feels a little different. Not in a bad way, but this does feel different from what I've been getting the past couple weeks, Aquarius. Let's get one more. We got Lovers. Cool. So I'm purposely keeping myself very neutral right now, because most of these cards in and of themselves are very neutral. But these could be totally different things. Now, as far as the elements go, they both fit your vibe. They're both comfortable. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know me, got to look at the elements. It builds a nice foundation. Tells us how comfy the energy will be. We have predominant air with a little bit of fire. Now, I always have to mention, for those newer to astrology, that Aquarius, although you are the water bearer, you are technically an air sign. So when I get a lot of air in the main part of your reading, that's always beautiful, because that's your comfort zone. That's your power element. So what do we know about air? It's very logical. It's very pragmatic. It's smart. It's intelligent. It does speak about the mindset and perspective, how we view things. A lot of times this can show up when there's certain things that we're trying to figure out, certain things that we're trying to learn, information that we're hunting for. It is the suit of communication. So whether it's giving information, receiving information, searching for information, that's all in play. The downside to the sword suit, because there's a lot of positives, is that sometimes it can overthink and overcomplicate, right? So just watch out for that in this time, like dwelling on things or overcomplicating them. It could also be cold and detached. So I'm not sure if there's something that you've been dealing with where you're starting to go very cold to it. That could be in play. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We also have fire right here on the front end. That's the realm of action. So whether it's the actions you take, the actions other people take, actions you want to take, or ones that you might be planning on taking, that's the suit right there. And when we mix the fire and air, they feed off of each other and intensify things even more. It's an explosive energy with the combination. Now, fire can also be health and wellness. It could be energy levels. Remember, it's high vibrational. All of this energy is high vibrational frequency. So there's a certain intensity to it. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of energetic intensity around the Aquarius collective this week. Uh, the Two of Wands, as with all Wands cards, the downside is the fact that it's hard to contain, right? It's so intense. And then when we're adding air in here, it can be unpredictable and explosive. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that. But let's go through and start building it out piece by piece. Position number one, Two of Wands. And we see our friend here. He's chilling. He's got a little globe in his hand, and it's like he's plotting his course forward. I like the Two of Wands. Now, when it comes to all twos, they could represent partnerships, being at a crossroads. Do I go left? Do I go right? It could be a make or break moment for some Aquariuses. But this one, compared to the others, is quite different. This one speaks about strategy and planning. Remember, he's plotting his course. He's like, hey, do I go this way? What do I do when I get there? I'm looking into the future. So for some Aquariuses, that could be advice from spirit. Like, hey, whatever it is you're dealing with, you should have structure. You should have boundaries. You should have like a roadmap to what you're trying to get to. So implementing some structure into whatever it is you're working with or dealing with could be a very good thing when this is here. Now, could this be somebody else that's in the planning phase? Absolutely, when this card is here. But what's the downside of the Two of Wands? This is a card that can feel stuck, where it's like, where do I go from here? What do I do now? So if you've been feeling kind of lost in space, or like you're not progressing, or stuck between a rock and a hard place, the Two of Wands can represent that, but this is huge when it comes to strategy, though. So you can probably overcome those feelings if you're having them. Now, moving to the middle, we have the Ace of Swords. I like this sword, especially in an Aquarius reading. I like all aces. I always say they represent offers, opportunities, open doors, and possibilities, right? It's like the number one right here. So I love the Ace of Swords. The Sword of Truth is the nickname of this card. Now, as with all aces, it could just be a communication. It could just be a talk or a conversation. The Ace of Swords is very honest, straightforward, to the point, shrewd. If you ask a question, be prepared for the answer when this card shows up. And I like the Ace of Swords because of that, because there's a lot of clarity and seeing the picture clear. The downside to this card is that, yeah, it could be serious sometimes, like whether it's a serious topic that you're dealing with, whether it's a warning, whether it could be anything, like it's like, no, there's something that needs attention. The Ace of Swords is not playing games, right? And it can also be very cold. So remember, I've been saying, like, there could be certain things or situations that you might be growing a little cold to, especially with this here. So we want to look into it further. Now, moving to the very back end, this could be our curveball here. We have the Lovers. Now, this is Gemini energy. Maybe you have Gemini placements. Maybe you're connected to Gemini. We see the Adam and Eve symbolism here. We see the Archangel Raphael. First and foremost, this is a huge card of angelic energy to me. So to me, it's like very spiritually supportive. I see this a lot when you're getting signs or synchronicities from the universe. This is really great. And depicted on it is the Archangel Raphael, the Archangel of healing. So that's important. If you're not dealing with any relationship things or issues, this is good because it's silky smooth, easy flowing, easy going. But the Lovers, it's partnerships, right? It doesn't always have to be romantic. It's someone that we may be emotionally invested in, or someone that we care about, soul tie territory when this card is here. The big downside to it is that sometimes, I don't want to say like we feel things that we don't want to feel from the other person. It could just be issues between you and someone that you care about when we look at the downside. but it could also be an energy that delays its healing. So I want to dive deeper on all this, Aquarius. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Two of Wands. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Aquarius, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Two of Wands here? Okay. Okay. This is very much a one-on-one type of energy. Now, I am going to say this, Aquarius, like there is something here about like planning a chat or a conversation. I saw something very similar in the Gemini reading where it's like, hey, I want to talk to this person about this. Like with the planning, the talk, the lovers, we're going to talk about this one-on-one. We're not going to tell other people about it. You know, sometimes where someone may share information with you and they're like, hey, Aquarius, can you keep this between us? Can we keep this quiet? Like there's something like that. I don't want to call it a secret, even though I was kind of getting that in the Gemini reading. But there is this like, hey, can we just have a one-on-one, Aquarius? Can we like just talk about it, just us, not tell anyone else about it? I don't know why that's coming through. Now, the Three of Pentacles, usually in the upright, it's great. It's a card of work and career, business expansion. Really like it. But a big thing is it's our social circle. It's the people around us, right? And when I see it in reverse underneath the Two of Wands, is there this planned out strategic type of energy that we saw earlier? Yes. And it's like, but I'm keeping it to myself. So for some Aquariuses, that could be an advice where it's like, hey, if you have the plan of action with whatever it is you're dealing with, you might want to keep it quiet or keep it between you and one other person. It's like we're keeping the circle small. To me, it's like someone that's keeping plans quiet. Either that or it's like we're keeping a conversation quiet. I think you get the point. There's something about this that is very hush hush, nod nod, wink wink. So we're going to keep going. We're going to see what's up with the Ace of Swords. I don't know why that would come through in such a way, but we got conversation, but it just seems very one-on-one. Let's keep this hush. So why is the Ace of Swords here? Okay. Okay. All right, so we have the Three of Swords in reverse. Now we got the repeating threes both in reverse. There's something here that feels a little gossipy. There's something here that feels a little gossipy, Aquarius. I would watch who you share certain information with in this time. Right? Like if you don't want everyone knowing it, you might want to not tell a certain individual. Now, if you pretty much keep your head down and you mind your own business, then that might not apply. Right? But like with the threes in reverse, it talks about outside problems or people talking about you or people discussing you. That's so unique. Now, the Three of Swords can also be a conversation or talk where we're getting something out in the air with this in reverse. But there is something about it needing to be a one-on-one, where it's like, hey, me and you, we're going to talk about this. Let's get this aired out, right? Like we're not going to include Tammy. We're not going to include Joan. We're not going to get Jennifer or Jessica or Sheila involved. No, it's just going to be me and you, right? So I don't know why that's coming through. So maybe this is an important or serious talk or conversation of some kind. If it is like so important to keep it one-on-one, I don't know what all this hush hush energy is. It could be good with the Three of Swords in reverse, but yeah, then there's like this energy of like somebody potentially blabbing. So watch who you give certain information to. Seriously. We're going to keep going. Let's go in on the lovers. Let's see what the lovers have. And then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. It's like I don't dislike the energy, but I'm also questioning it. Aquarius, or I'm like, okay, why? Why? So hopefully there's not something going on or someone acting in a way. Okay, yeah, but still, it's like I'm going to do you a favor, right? We got the King of Swords in reverse underneath the lovers. What is this about? Now it's like we have this bookend energy because remember, he is a master strategist. Aside from being one of your power cards, King of Swords is a master strategist, as with the Two of Wands. There's something here. There's something here with the planning and strategy. There is. So I'm not sure if it's someone that you're dealing with, someone that you were dealing with, someone that you will be dealing with, but it's like, hey, This ain't no accident. Like there's this energy where it's like, no, this is purposeful. And I don't mean that in like a malicious way, right? Like there just seems to be structure to a situation. So again, that could be advice. Now the King of Swords in reverse underneath the Lovers is definitely one of these energies where it's like, I'm going to be nice to you this time, or I'm going to let you slide on that one, right? So I'm not sure if this is you or someone else, where it's like, you know how some people, they get caught speeding and the cop pulls them over and he's like, I'm going to give you a ticket, but you know what? I'm going to cut you a break this time. I'm not going to give you a ticket. Just drive safe, get home safe. It's like something like that, where it's like a warning, where it's like, I'm going to let you off. I'm going to let you off on this one. I'm going to let that one slide. I don't know what that is. There's like just so much specific stuff coming through. And a lot of you know, I do a lot of personal readings for Aquariuses, love connecting with you. I don't normally see energy like this for the Aquarius collective. I don't. Even though like there's a lot of air and a lot of signifiers of Aquarius, like this is super unique. So maybe this is someone else's vibe that's creeping over into your reading. But yeah, air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, all the air signs are here. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. A lot of random stuff here this week, my friends. A lot of hush hush, quiet, wink wink, nod nod stuff. But if you look here in the box, position number one, we got the Two of Wands, Three of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, it's like let's plan this one on one. There is like this strategy that someone might be keeping to themselves. So whether that be you or somebody else, it's like, they don't need to know my every move. They don't need to know what's coming up next. There is also this big caution in the front end of keeping your plans to yourself. Or just, I don't know, like watching who you give certain information to, who you trust certain information with. Super important, because I could see an energy where there's multiple people discussing you or discussing something involving you. Especially as we get to the back end, we have the Ace of Swords, Three of Swords in reverse, both threes in reverse underneath it. Um, One-on-one communication is the best way. Like that's another thing, like either a serious or an important talk where it's like, hey, let's figure this out one-on-one. Let's air this out. Cool. I'm all about that. But moving to the back end, we have the Lovers with the King of Swords in reverse, where it's like, I'm going to let that one slide. I'm going to give you a warning this time. So I'm not sure if there's someone you're being kind with, or maybe someone's going to be kind with you. Or, I don't know. It's just like super unique how the energy just kind of lets one slide. But there is a lot of planning at play. There is. So maybe that was the plan from the start. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yes, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you on. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this going here. What is in the shadows for my beautiful Aquarius friends? What do we got? Cool. Sun. Nice. So that's a positive card. It is the most positive card. But interestingly enough, when we're looking at the shadows and the sun shows up in the shadows, that does represent illumination, things coming to light, right? And the sun is a very intense energy. And we'll talk about the shadow side of it. Now, this could be a Leo or a Leo placement, but the sun is normally source energy. So for some Aquariuses, maybe this is you connecting with your inner voice and source energy all at once. That's a good thing if you've been doing your spiritual practice. I really like it. Uh, the sun is wins, victories, and blessings. It's very optimistic, and it could be spirit saying, like, hey, look on the bright side when it comes to something. But the shadow side of the sun is that it is very, very intense. So watch out for feelings that you can't help but feel, urges that you can't help but feel. All that can be in play when the sun is here. And it's also an energy where things come to the surface. So just like I was saying about, hey, watch who you give certain information to, uh, this even reinforces it more. So do what you will with that, Aquarius. That's what I got for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The August subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The August calendar is up and spots go quick, so you might want to check that out. But for the August subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 winners at random to either choose the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which is an absolutely stunning deck, or one of the custom-made crystal pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards that showed up in your reading today, which one intrigued you the most? Which one caught your attention and why? And you put that in the comments, you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab / post tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.